Well guys, here she is, my new addiction. I literally have not gotten off this sled since we rode them in Yellowstone, and got about 2,300 kilometers on them. I have more on other turbos, but I have about 2,300 kilometers on this one. Same belt, and the thing has run like a champ. So again, doing tons of riding, tons of sled skiing on it, so putting two bodies on it, which really adds the weight, sometimes 450 to 500 pounds. This thing is a monster. We talked a lot about the Expert package already, and this comes pretty much with everything that the Expert package has. It had the a longer riser on it. I put a shorter riser on it because I am short. And what else did I do to it? I didn't really do much else to the snowmobile. Added some TKI stuff, some of these sled tread knee pads, and other than that, oh, I put a skid plate on the other day, and other than that, it has been bone stock. Again, this is a sled that you can literally buy, put a skid plate on, and go ride it. You've heard tons of interviews on the engine, and it is everything that that all the videos and everybody says. This thing is unbelievable in how well it works. I will address that we were all disappointed that there was no glove box. However, I use a riser bag now and I absolutely love it. Don't even miss it. I love it because I can take it off at the end of the day rather than fishing all the stuff out of my glove box and putting it in pockets trying to get it down to the truck. I just take the riser bag off and throw it in, and it comes in the house with me, and then I have everything. I don't leave stuff on my sled and forget about it, which can happen. So I think that's a big thing that most people will get over pretty quickly. Now, I talked a little bit about that being two sleds. This is like having three snowmobiles in one, and the reason is because in the 165 you can run the limiter strap in long, and it's so playful. This thing, the front end comes up whenever you want. You almost have to be careful now because we're lucky this year we got to start riding these when it was super deep pow. Normally we get them at the end of the season and all the pow is gone. And these things, when it's firm, will wheelie like crazy. And so having in that long position makes it super fun. And you can just put this sled where you want to go. Then when you want to get into areas, just like the Expert we talked about, you can shorten it up and you get a more precise ride. You can get into areas faster. There's your second sled that makes a huge difference. Your third sled is the turbo. Now this thing is unbelievable. Now I've ridden a few turbo sleds. Was not a big turbo guy, for the reason that I always tell people if you're going to buy an aftermarket turbo, you really need two sleds. One, because when you're going to be fixing that sled, you're going to want to ride something else. And when you're tuning it, you're going to want to ride something else because you want to keep riding. And at the end of the day, if something goes wrong with it, you're going to have a backup sled. And anybody who rides turbos, they know that's the deal. They usually have two sleds. And it's not to dish the aftermarket. I think they've done an amazing job on what people want. The other problem with turbos is you have to be a really good rider to ride them. And if you're not, the sled's just riding you. They come on strong, and they have to be kept in the higher RPMs because they need to be there ready to go. So when it's game time, you're in the game, and there's no warm-up. You're going for it. And for a lot of riders, that's just not practical, including me. That's not how I want to ride, and that's not how I ride on the deep days. You bet, because it's a little bit easier cushion because you're pinning the sled and it's going slower than it would be on a faster day. So realistically, you need to have two sleds. Well, that changes now. You do not, because this sled drives exactly like a non-aspirated, natural aspirated snowmobile. And I'll give you an example. We did a 230 kilometer ride way out on a big glacier in BC. It's glacier riding, so it was good deep snow, but not huge. And I took this, and I can use the turbo a couple times that day on some big pulls that we wanted to do. But at the end of the day, we came home with just as much gas and just as much oil as a Summit SP that we had in the group, because we just weren't on the gas the whole time. We were going way back there. We were going long and far, but we just weren't in the turbo zone all day. And so it just rode like a normal sled. which is amazing, and you can't do that a lot of times with a turbo sled. It's on or off, and you're going to be going through that gas and oil. And this is not the case with the turbo. When you want the power, it is there. So again, on another level from the expert, it allows you to go slower. One of the reasons why people ride really fast or side hill fast is they're kind of scared they're going to get stuck, and they don't want to get stuck. With this, you can now go slow and learn traction, learn how the machine works, and side hills. And if you feel like you're going to get stuck, you just give it a little more power and the thing will come out and keep going. So as somebody learning to side hill more difficult terrain, it's easier. It helps you get better. And I use the analogy a lot on trials bikes. I ride a lot of them, and the secret of trials riding is slow and learning the grip with the tire because of the low PSI and the grip on the tire. And snowmobiling is the same thing. You're either making grip or you're spinning your track losing grip. And the people that make grip will go further, do more, and have an easier time and have more energy at the end of the day. And because this teaches you to do that, because you can go slower knowing that you have the power to get out of it. And that really changes how you ride this snowmobile. It's more fun. You'll go into harder places that you might deeper down that you wouldn't go on a naturally aspirated sled, knowing that you will get out. You will also choose lines that earlier I was at Grizzly Lodge. We went up through this sort of canyon slot and got all cliffed out. I side hilled over and I looked up and I was like, I don't know. And still from the mentality on a normal aspirated machine, I said, I'm going to go for it. I went around, and when I hit it, it was like a wall, and this thing just climbed right up it, and 2-3 humps, and I was up. Radio down to my buddy Theo, who also has a turbo, and in another couple of minutes, he was right there, and we were giggling like little kids. And that is what this snowmobile is all about. It will give you the kick in the pants that just makes riding another level of more fun. And you just can't get enough. I mean, you see anybody who rides this, they come back and they've got like a huge smile and they're giggling like a little kid. It is absolutely incredible, and it's all thanks to the amazing engineers at Rotex and the engineers in Valcourt who were designing this engine and working on this engine for a long time. And it just gives you that clean, crisp power. I will say that you've heard me say it, this machine, it seems to run cleaner than my 850 naturally aspirated in every condition. It is absolutely unbelievable, and it's why it's the only snowmobile I want to ride now. And I will, maybe address some things that help it again. Is that the shorter tunnel, everything evacuates super quick. I will say that I have not used my snow flap, my snow flap, accessory snow flap that comes with the machine at all this year, except I probably needed it twice. There were 2 times when I got really close to overheating. When we did that long glacier ride, we actually did overheat, and we had to get into the snow. But we were riding like 30 kilometers back there on a hard road. So it is worth buying the accessory snow flap and having it in your car just for those days that you need it. And I will need it now for the rest of the season because spring is here. The groomers have made the tracks up to the mountain super hard, and so in the morning you're just not getting the kick up of snow. The snow flap goes on and it keeps the machine cool just like a regular sled, and then you drop it at the top. So that's a little bit about my, I guess the couple of things that I love about this machine for me, because I'm small, is one of the things I love is when I'm on a slope like this and the machine is down and I got to get it back up. That's probably the hardest thing for me to do. I'm a small guy, 140 pounds, 5'6", is now I can, using my brake and throttle, I can kick it up. And because the track speed is faster, it seems to just kick up way easier because it just mouths through that snow. One of the things I also love is, we've all had this experience, you're out with your 3 buddies, super deep day, your lead buddy is going through, he's going through the super steep trees, and I had this experience with Jason Ribby following him. He sets this monster track through the forest, It's gnarly on both sides. You don't know if you can go down and make it out, so you're kind of following them. Another guy goes through and creates a big trench right beside. So in the middle of those two trenches, you got this huge mound of snow. Now anybody knows when you hit that on a normal aspirated sled, the sled really goes kind of wonky and tilts and puts you somewhere you don't want to be. On the turbo, you come through, and because of the track speed, it just goes wah and goes straight right through it and eats that snow up. And that's the advantage of that power and how quick that track speed happens. Also, when you're turning, boy, does this thing turn on a dime. Again, the track speed. So it really, really helps you. So we talked about the limiter strap before on the Expert. I will talk a little bit about it here because I have a great example. Another story, we were at Grizzly Lodge climbing some big turbo climbs, and one of the things that was incredible was Theo showed me this one climb, probably about this much fresh snow. We dropped down into it first, and even going down it, I was like, we're going to come up this, and we came down, and Theo went first, made it to the top, and I came after him with the same sled with the turbo, and hit his track about midway, and boy, this thing stood up. And I was coming out of that, it felt like I was coming out of that chokehold of the middle on the back quarter of the track, probably because I was. So I went back down, and even though I made it, I went back down and I was like, that was a little hairy, I'm going to put it into the short position. And what a difference. Came out into the fresh snow, through the chokehold, the thing was like a dart. It just shot right out, so much so that I aired out of the chokehold, landed, and then continued on. And really, really amazing what that short and long can do, especially on the turbo, and it really is needed. For those of you who are getting a turbo sled in the X model without the limiter strap adjust, you're going to need it. And it's just especially in the 154. So that is something to really think about, again, as we look at all the things that are available from the Summit X to the Expert package, is do your due diligence on the cost and what you might need in the future, and because it's going to cost you more to add it after, and sometimes it'll cost you as much as it would have to get the Expert and get the more extra parts that you're going to get. So really important to think about that. My sled for choice next year is going to be the 175 Expert and Expert package. That's the sled that I think, I've ridden a little bit of it, but comparing it to this, even though I love this machine, I'm also probably going to have a 165 in the free ride just to have something different and add a limiter strap adjust to it for sure. But that 175, I will tell you guys, if you're out riding the deep in BC or other parts of North America that get lots of deep snow, that machine is going to blow your mind on how easy it is to ride with the short tunnel in the Expert package. And then with the turbo up front, it is a monster. And you're going to have so much fun. And let's not forget, that's what this sport is all about. So I hope that I was able to take you through a bunch of different things on the sleds, guys, and show you what my favorite things about them have been. And I just can't get enough of the machine. And I hope it gives you an idea on how to make your best choice on what you're looking for, whether you're looking for a Summit SP, whether you're looking for a Summit with X, Summit X, or the Summit X with Expert package, or the free ride. They're all amazing machines, but they all are quite a little bit different. So it's important for you to match your riding style, your area, what you want out of the snowmobile to what you want. So hopefully that helps you, and I hope you've had an amazing season. We still got a little bit more left, and we'll see you out on snow.